What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Black Market coming at you tonight for a nightly review on the 2nd of March. So we're going to get this out the way. We're going to first talk about the ES, and then we'll go through some individual sectors, and then I'll cover a couple of stocks I'm watching for the week. So if we look at the ES here, right, we're at the high of 39.59. So I've got a line drawn there, and then I've got a line drawn pretty much right at that 21 EMA. And you can see, really we came up, topped out at 39.59, and then we came back below that 21, and now we're kind of trading in that zone right here, kind of back and forth between that zone right now. And we're sitting right on that 21 EMA. Now, if you look at the SPY, as you can see, right, dropped below that 21 a few days back, and then we gained some strength, sat right at that 21 EMA, and then today, right, we opened right around yesterday's high, and then we came right back down to that 21. For the Qs, or the tech sector, you can see the tech sector, which has really been leading the market all year, right now is the weakest, right? Because if you look at tech's underneath that 21. It went underneath that 21 a few days back, and it's still underneath that 21 today, right? It started off at that high of yesterday's session, of the last session, and then you can see it start off at the high and just continued lower today. Now the VIX, if we look at the VIX is sitting right above that 21. You can see that 21 started to curl up. It came up a bit. Now it's kind of flat, so it's sitting right there. So really, I look at the market right now. The market's kind of mixed. It's a bit choppy. It could go either way. So, for me, it's all about patience this week. Just kind of waiting on that A plus setup to unfold before I take any action. And so if we're looking at the sectors, let's take a quick look at the sectors here. If we look at the sectors, so we've got SXD, or the semiconductor sector here, XLK, or tech, healthcare, communications, finance, and then we got industrials, or these are kind of your top sectors here. You can see if I put my crosshairs on the tech sector, which has been leading this, if I put the crosshairs on them today, you can see across the board on all the other sectors, right? We haven't had a lot of strength. All of the sectors, for the most part, all of the sectors were pretty weak today. I mean, when you're looking at the sectors, the only strong sector was your material sector, your XLB sector here. And, we don't want the XLB sector leading the market. So it's not like if the material sector just went off over the next week, we're not going to have a ton of market strength, right? We need XLK, we need semiconductors. These are the two main ones that have been leading us all year, or that was leading us all year last year and beginning of this year. So we need these two sectors to be strong if we want that strength to come back. And you can see right now, right, XLK and XSD, they're both, closing below on the daily, on that 21 EMA. XLF, finance sector, out of the larger sectors, seems to be the strongest right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go into my flex chart and look at a couple of stocks I've got my eye on. Right now I'm looking at a 78-minute chart. There's a ton of people that look at a 1 hour chart, a 2 hour chart, a 4 hour chart. Everybody looks at those kind of hourly increment charts. I like to look at sometimes a 78-minute chart, a 195-minute chart, or a 39-minute chart. That kind of, those different time frames give you a bit of an edge, right? Because everybody doesn't necessarily trade and look for squeezes on those charts. So if you look here, the bottom of the screen, we've got the TTM squeeze. The middle indicator here, we've got volume, and then we've got our Bollinger Bands on the top chart here. Essentially what we're looking for on this TTM squeeze, if it's blue and if it's above this midpoint here, this means that there is strength in the stock, but that strength is weakening. If the bars are red and it's below, right, that means that stock is getting weaker, and there's strength growing in the weakness. If there's yellow and if it's below, that means the stock is still weak, right, but that weakness has subsided and it's starting to gain a little bit more strength as it's moving back towards that midpoint. And then last but not least, if it's this light blue or this aqua blue, and if it's above the midline, if it's aqua blue, that means there's buying volume, right? That means that stock's getting stronger. And you can see here, and you want to look for these red dots. You're mainly looking for red dots. That means that stock is in a squeeze. And you can see you've got these Bollinger Bands are kind of tightening up, right? It's kind of like a rubber band. If you pull a rubber band, right, that rubber band stretches. And then all of a sudden, when you release it, right, you've got a ton of energy that releases and it kind of snaps. It's the same thing here when you're trading using these Bollinger Bands in the squeeze. When it's squeezing right here, that's kind of like that rubber band's getting pulled. And then this is when that rubber band's snapping, or you have that release of energy. So you can see how that stock kind of snaps off, right? And that price moves up once it's coming out of that squeeze, because you can see is buying pressure being built here in that squeeze. And then this green dot with this aqua means that squeeze is firing, right? And momentum or that buying pressure is continuing to go up. And that's why that stock is going up here. So you really want to get into the stock, right kind of in this area, right when it's starting to build that pressure. So you can see right here, Visa is squeezing right now, and it's above that kind of mid Bollinger Band. So, good indication that stock may have some room to move up. If we do look at the daily, if we go to the daily chart on Visa, you can see it's trending well above. You can see it's trending well above that 5 MA, that 5 moving average. So, it could easily move back up to its high of 220, right? So that's kind of how you read that. If we look at, let's go back to that 78 minute. Another one I want to look at is JPM. And both these stocks are stocks I'm looking at for tomorrow and for the rest of the week. You can see here, once again, right, it's in that squeeze. So it's squeezing. It's lost some momentum, right? Some positive momentum, but now it's starting to squeeze again as it's losing that momentum. And right here, you can see those Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten up. So once again, if we go to the daily chart, you can see it is not as clean as the setup as Visa. Oh, let's let the chart do its thing, because it's underneath that 5 MA right there, but it is still sitting above that 10, so we can easily see it move back up to that $154 range, especially since finance is one of the stronger sectors, and JPM's in that finance sector. So as goes the sector, as goes the stock. So if finance is strong tomorrow, I'd be looking for a move on JPM back up towards that $154 mark. If not, obviously, JPM could be going the opposite direction. So couple of stocks I got my eyes on for tomorrow. There'll be some others, if I do get into some trades tomorrow, I will definitely review those guys with you tomorrow. So that's all I got for tonight. You guys know what to do. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, hit your boy up. Talk with you guys later.